on the Texas A&M Sports Network from Learfield. Live from Rudy's Barbecue on Harvey Road in College Station. Welcome to the Aggie Diamond Hour with Michael Earley. Brought to you by 44 Farms, the official beef of Texas A&M Athletics. And by Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue. Visit rudys.com to find real Texas barbecue near you. Here's the voice of the Aggies, Andrew Monaco.
Howdy, y'all. Thanks for being here. It's an Aggie Diamond Hour. What a week it has been here at Rudy's, 504 Harvey Road here in College Station. On Monday, we talked Aggie basketball. Did that with Buzz Williams. They're ranked number 10. And then the Aggie Diamond Hour yesterday. We did that with Tricia Ford. And softball is ranked number 7. But it doesn't get better than number 1, right? That's what we do here. The Aggie Diamond Hour with Michael Earley. Justin can sit anywhere he pleases, Coach. Yeah. So this is my first question to Michael Earley. How's it sound to say Texas A&M head coach Michael Earley?
It sounds amazing. Yeah.
Couldn't be happier, my friend.
There's certain days where it's definitely challenging, but it's always, I've gone past the part where I'm always excited, but I'm no longer kind of like, wow, is this actually happening? I feel like I've settled in many different aspects. So yeah, it's pretty cool, and it's an honor to be the head of such a amazing university's baseball program.
Michael, what's the difference between being an assistant and a head coach at this time? I'll ask you this again later on in the season, but what's the difference between going from an assistant to a head coach?
My phone never stops ringing. Phone never stops ringing, and I definitely worry about pitchers way more than I ever did. So that would be the biggest challenge.
Before you just didn't care, right? Someone else had.
I cared, but I just kind of moved on and went on. Thank you.
I wanted to ask you, you get introduced by General Welch, and then you are on his podcast. What have you learned from General Welch? Are there things that you can do from his world into your world, if you know what I mean? And does that leadership, are you hoping some of that rubs off on you? Because I know he is a huge fan of Michael Earley.
Yeah, I think the things he's done in his life, anything I'm doing from a baseball perspective kind of pales in comparison to that. But yeah, I think the way he talks to people and commands the room and never shows when he's stressed or not stressed, it seems like, to me at least. He's just one of those guys you look at, and when he talks, you listen, right? And that's come from years of experience. So if I can, get an ounce of what that guy's got when he walks in a room, I think it helped me out a ton. So, yeah, he's been awesome. Texts me, checks in, which I think is pretty unique at a place like this. And someone has a job like that in the fall. He just dropped by the field one time, wanted to see how I was doing. So it was pretty cool, and I'm very comfortable around him. And at first, I wasn't, just because of kind of that figure he is. But he does a really good job of making you feel welcome and making you feel a part of it.
He showed up at one of a shoot-around for Buzz, which I thought was interesting, and then he spoke with the group afterwards. I say this because the managers were taken aback, like, oh, I can't meet General Welch. I said, you're exactly who he wants to meet. Right? That's exactly. He's like, oh, they felt like, no, I'm not big enough for him. I said, no, you got it absolutely wrong. And then they got that relationship. We know how impressive he is, and yet there's a down-homeness, is there not, to him, which absolutely fits A&M.
Yeah, I think it's a sign of such a great leader that he wants to meet and take care of everyone. He's not just concerned with, I guess, whatever. I'm sure he deals with some issues that we don't even know about, but he never makes you feel like that. So I think it's a sign of an amazing leader, and he's, I was glad when he got, I guess, the interim tag taken off, right, or whatever the situation was, because the first time I heard him talk, I was just really, really impressed and I researched him, read about him, and I was extremely impressed just by the human he is.
I'm excited that it's not just the interim's off, but he's committed to 4 or 5 years, which is awesome. I think it's exciting. You have to have that type of leadership in a university, do you not, with General Welch and Trev Alberts as AD? And when you have that kind of unification, that's important, isn't it?
For sure, and just seeing those two kind of talk back and forth and seeing the relationship they've already formed, it makes me feel comfortable with where we're at. Not only a baseball program, but our athletic department as a whole. I don't think we could be in a better spot with those two leading the charge.
Michael, tell me about this team. Next Friday at this time, we're going to be in the second, third, fourth inning, something like that. So tell me about this team coming into this 2025 season.
Yeah, obviously we have some talented players and some guys that return, and we were able to add some pieces out of the transfer portal. And there's a few freshmen I think could make an impact. Whether that's maybe not necessarily immediately, maybe so, but I think so, as seasons go. But just a really high character group of guys, and guys that you can have conversations with, and guys that I was telling today, like, I look forward to seeing what a lot of them will do post baseball careers, baseball players, but I also feel like there's a lot of them that are going to do a lot of cool things just in life, whether what kind of fathers, husbands they become, and business people, or what they end up doing. I think there's a lot of unique personalities in a really, really good way. And I'm excited for them. I'm excited they get to be a part of this and be a part of Texas A&M baseball, because it's something that doesn't really stay around, right? Like, you usually play 3 to 4 years in a program, so I just want to make sure they absorb all of that, and they have, and they show it every day in their character and their work ethic. And we have people ask what your culture is. Like, I truly feel like we have a culture of guys that show up and want to work and want to get better, period. Culture's not winning, even though winning helps culture, but to me, I think that can get confused. So that's the type of guys I want to be around, and the coaching staff I want to have, and these guys make my life a lot easier.
And with a player who's to your left in Justin Lamkin, it's the Justin Lamkins of the team that set the culture, correct? It's one thing to do it top down, but here we go with the players recruit players, the players bring transfer players in, right? They're going to be the honest part of it. You can say all you want, they're going to get the truth out of them.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Justin's an example of one of many that, I lay my head down at night and I don't worry about him. I don't worry about him doing his work. I don't worry about him doing his schoolwork. Sometimes we go days and we don't even talk. But he's great, and we got a lot of guys like that are, they're part of the culture of work, and they come in there and it's a business. He's a professional, and he's going to play a lot of baseball past this season, and I'm looking forward to that. And him, along with a lot of other guys, have already developed that work ethic it takes to be a professional.
And it's hard to say that because it's not a professional league, right? I get it, but that's almost the highest compliment you can give someone. Can you not? You've been the professional, right? And you know what that takes. So when you're seeing it in this young, it's a way that you're thinking, man, they're going to advance rather quickly because they have this attribute or that attributes.
Yeah, and I want Texas A&M. I want it to be a place where you come get a great education. We win national championships, but I want you to play professional baseball.
Right.
It's not all, and that's what the players want, and that's what I want from them. It's not all what I want or what you can do for me. We want to teach you the everyday life of what it is to be a professional player. So the highest compliment we can get is when you go to a professional organization and say, "Oh, those guys from A&M, those guys can really play. Like they know what they're doing. They've been taught and shown the ropes, and know how to do things the correct way." So it's I believe you can have it all. And that's what we're striving to do.
It takes that question out of the equation, right? They see an A&M player, and that's where one of the teams in Major League Baseball is saying, yeah, I know exactly what I'm getting, right? There's those attributes as well, aren't there?
Yeah, you see in all kinds of other sports, and certain teams take certain players, but I want that. I want MLB teams to say, oh, those A&M guys, like they're going to be ready for the grind of what this is, a minor league life, and they have it a lot easier at Texas A&M than they'll have in the minor leagues, just as far as resources and things like that. But from a playing standpoint, readiness to play at that level, I want that. I want that for them as much as I want anything else.
Michael, to that point, we touched on this a little bit more. Can you talk about, because we're going to talk about Olsen Field at Bluebell Park and how that will be expanded, what's going to do there. But the Player Development Center, that is very exciting, is it not?
It's extremely exciting, and while our atmosphere to me is matched by none, our facilities are, and we're I don't know where we rank in currently right now as part like rankings of facilities, but it's not at the top and it's not in the middle. And with this renovation, I believe we're going to match the best atmosphere in college baseball at the best player development facilities in college baseball, and that's going to be massive in the fact of developing players. And we've already shown we can do that at a high level, but also recruiting players. Because baseball recruiting is different. Like, we don't get to bring guys to baseball games. That's not when the recruiting window is. So a lot of players we commit they haven't seen the atmosphere. So being able to walk them through facilities that are top tier is huge. And if they do get to see the atmosphere like they did in the fall in those 2 scrimmages, I think we committed like 70% of the guys that were at those games. That was just a unique situation, and a huge tip of the cap to our fan base, because I would love for the recruiting windows to be different,
right?
And we can march guys into our atmospheres on the weekend. I think my job might be slightly easier.
It's interesting though that football and basketball and softball and tennis and soccer all uses baseball for their recruits, do they not? We had a ton come along last spring, and I just imagine it's going to be that and more this spring as well.
I believe they use it when they were recruiting Tricia Ford too, years back. She came to I believe it's a regional game. So yeah, it's just another. The fan base, I think, says it all, and what they show up and show out for in every single sport. So it's really cool to see. I've never seen anything like it in my life.
What was it like, Kyle Field, Notre Dame game? This team did not get the accolades, because of what happened in the offseason. So when you finally did in front of 100,000 at Kyle Field, how rewarding was that for you and for this team to be honored by the 12th man that night?
Yeah, I was happy for them. And I think the coolest part of a baseball program, and you could attest to this, is you're only with that team for 1 year. Right. That group of guys for 1 year. And then when they come back, it's kind of like a reunion, and you see like, oh, there's so-and-so, there's so-and-so, and you get to see those guys interact. And when you ever share a locker room with someone, or especially in baseball, you don't skip a beat. Like I'll see friends from, I played with 15 years ago, and it's just like yesterday. So yeah, I thought it was a really cool moment for those guys, and it was good too. Like it's kind of capped it off, right? Like, yeah, okay, last year was last year. We did amazing. Now it's kind of time to flip the script. So there was two different. It meant two different things, and both are super positive.
Is it fair to say that I know this team is number 1 in the polls, and yet it will also play with a chip on their shoulder?
For sure. I mean, that's how I always played, and that's how I think the game is supposed to be played, and that's the kind of guys we brought in, and that's the kind of guys, I think most of them played like that last year. So it's you can find something in between the lines in everything you do, right? Whether someone ranks you 1 or whatever. I think really whatever it is for each guy, whatever makes them tick, whether you're a guy that wants to play because you want to prove someone wrong, someone said something to you 5 years ago, and that's what you've carried your whole life, or you want to play to prove somebody right. Whatever little extra you can muster up in a baseball season is huge, because the game gets monotonous, and you gotta be able to grab something every now and then to kind of push you through. And I mean, I do it every single day. And
there is that. When I say development, it's interesting. You get 56 games for the most part in college, and all of them are meaningful. Now, Christopher Cortez is now in the Angels organization. Jack Moss is in the Reds, right? That development is different, but you can accelerate that, and you're still part of that development from the kid who was 18 to the kid who's 20 or 21 and moving on. That development part, you were saying not just in life and what he's going to become, but that baseball part is very important to you as well, isn't it? No, it's extremely important. And the difference between professional baseball and college is we have a fall where you get to just play free baseball, where it doesn't mean anything. You can get out, you can walk, guys, you can work on things, and I think that's why statistically it shows that you're better off to go to college and sign out of high school, right, as a pro. And it's great. I mean, you just get that time in that relationship, and minor league baseball, which I love minor league baseball, but you don't get that type of relationship. What'd you say? Chiefs. You said Chiefs? Chiefs. All right. And so yeah, it's just super cool. You get to know guys on a deeper level. I think I had one coach in the minor leagues I had for 3 years at one time, which never happens. Right. And that's a guy I talked to this day. That was just a unique situation. But that's the cool part about college, is it's way more than just baseball. It's the Aggie Diamond Hour with Michael Earley. We'll take our first break and come on back to Rudy's 504 Harvey Road here in College Station. This is Aggie Baseball from Learfield. The 12th Man Foundation is the official fundraising organization and ticket provider for Texas A&M Athletics. Support a 75-year legacy and help shape the future of Aggie Athletics by donating today at 12thmanfoundation.com. It's the Aggie Diamond Hour. It's with Michael Earley. The Aggies get started next Friday, 6 o'clock, Elon Olsen Field at Bluebell Park. Coming up this Saturday, the inaugural first pitch game, the intra-squad scrimmage at 4 o'clock. Free admission, free parking. That's the important part. I've always said I will sell my football tickets for what, but I'll get a lot more for football parking. Fireworks, concessions will be open. This is important. You have a lot of players coming back as well, aren't you, on Saturday?
Yeah, it's going to be really cool. We want to do some different stuff this year, and Jason Hutchins, our director of baseball operations, had a great idea of. He does, and I echo the fact that I want the former players to be more involved, and then the fact that sometimes those banquets they're just like a little stuffy. Parents come to sit at a table and see their child get announced, and some people talk, and it's just like, why don't we announce them on the baseball field and get the former players back? So Hutch has done an amazing job getting that together. I think as of yesterday, there was like 705 former players and their families coming. I think that number keeps growing. So that's Hutch was the brains behind the whole idea. And we also look really smart because it's going to be like 80 degrees. And it's working out. It's working out great. And I just think it's a way cooler. The players will all get announced just like you would at a banquet. Yeah. Former players will get announced. There'll be a chance to get their autographs. So it's just going to be, something that I think is the first, and I think it's definitely something we're going to continue doing every single year.
Michael, that's important for the former players, is it not? Because sometimes they don't know when there's a new head coach, will I be welcomed? And that's high on your list, is it not?
It's really high, and Hutch has helped me out a ton, just kind of being the liaison between me and them. And I've known some of them, just kind of some guys I'm mutual friends with, and just random connections before I even got here. So yeah, it's huge, important. I never played here. I just want them to know that they're always welcome, and that's something that'll always be extremely important to me.
I thought it was really cool last year, the 89 team, the 99 team was being honored, like at the anniversary of those teams that led the way, right, for what we had. And I think it's fun to say, that 2024 team was the first to do this since such and such. Like, that connection is important of the present and the past, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, these guys will always share brotherhood of being Aggie baseball players and going to Texas A&M, and it's cool. And I don't think they realize how cool it is when you're actually here, but it's kind of when you leave. And not only is there the Aggie network, but there's that brotherhood and that bond that you create just from playing baseball.
Tell me about your staff. You got to put a staff together. How excited were you to do that, and how excited are you have it going into this season?
I got really lucky, just the fact that I was able to kind of hit on the people that I wanted to hit on right away. And Caleb Longley, I think, was the first guy that I hired, and it was important for me just from a hitting standpoint that when I had to step away and do certain things, I had someone that was similar to me but different. I think he's really creative in things he can do and help certain and different guys, and it was important for me to make that hire and to get someone that I know is like a tireless recruiter, a guy who was at another school and had a number 2 and 3 ranked recruiting class, and he's been great. And then hiring Jason Kelly, just have a guy with head coaching experience, not only a head coach but a pitching coach, that kind of allowed me to stay on the offensive side of the ball, so to speak, and keep him with the pitchers. J.K. someone I worked with at Arizona State, and former National Assistant Coach of the Year, turned down a major league job with the San Francisco Giants years ago. Just someone I respect a ton. And it's not just pitching with him. He does a lot of, like, I saw him teaching a guy bunting the other day just because he's a baseball coach. Right. And Will Fox was huge. Will's an amazing guy. Really good infield coach. He's coached our infielders the last few years, so that was a super easy decision. And then keeping guys around like Jason Hutchins and baseball operations, he makes my life extremely easy every single day. And, some of the new guys we brought in, so Jace Hutchins, our director of player and program development, super talented. Like, he's going to be an amazing pitching coach one day. Knows so much at such a young age. Right. we're going to do everything we can to keep him and guys like Jack Mahala around here, analytics guy. And yeah, it's been great. I mean, the whole staff, I could speak about them for days. They helped me out, I think, way more than they possibly know. And bringing Coach Mack back from LSU and keeping Kaylee. And, you know, not only were our players trying to get poached away by other programs, but so were staff members. So it's good to be in the building with, you know, a lot of people that wanted to be here. And I think that's really important.
I've asked this of Mike Elko in football. I'll ask you as well. You've got to take care of Texas, but this is a national program as well, is it not?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, we from a recruiting standpoint, like, you'd be foolish to not try to get the best players in Texas, but our reach is you know, gotten larger. And, you know, we kind of got a foothill to grab some guys from California, just kind of the connections now JK and myself made just being at Arizona State. And, you know, we're going to recruit guys from everywhere.
Right.
You know, we had a kid in from Cincinnati, Ohio just a couple weeks ago. We had a kid in from Oklahoma, a kid in from Mississippi. But, yeah, I mean, our roster is always going to predominantly be Texas kids because it's one of the best baseball states out there. But, yeah, if you're good and kind of where Texas A&M is right now as a baseball program and the momentum we have and the TV and everything, they see it, and right. It's huge. So, yeah, I mean, if you're good, we're going to try to get you.
Whether it is the nationally televised games, that schedule came out during conference and then during the tournament and then during regionals, super regionals. And I don't know if anything illustrates a program more than to be in Omaha, correct? You were probably as busy in Omaha, not trying to win a championship, but also there's transfers and recruits and all that. There's no separation, was it? It kind of dovetails.
No, I think I remember Matt Bergevin. I think he committed. I was walking the stairs in my office, and we were in the regional or super regional, and he called me to commit. And Jacob Galloway was like a week before he called me to commit. And I can't remember if we're in the season or during the tournament. So yeah, trying to recruit guys while you're playing is. It pales in comparison to what football has to do.
Right.
But it doesn't make it any easier. So
no,
it's kind of wild.
To me, though, like when the players come in and you ask them, oh, did you get a chance to watch A&M in that run? And they, even just watching it, realizing that there's something special, right? You can't fake that, right? Either you have joy for one another or you don't.
Yeah, I mean, just that Oregon game in particular and kind of how that unfolded. And, I mean, ESPN did a great job of just kind of highlighting the atmosphere and that moment was huge. Like, people ask me about that all the time. And again, in recruiting, as much as we can show that atmosphere and where you get to play and the people you get to play in front of, that's not the fluff, right? That's the real stuff.
Right.
That's why you play at certain places or you choose to play at certain places. It's the people you surround yourself with and the place you get to play in should be the most important factors.
Have you had an opportunity to sit back and appreciate what happened last year?
Yeah, for sure. Baseball players and coaches can be very irrational, right? So you just kind of look at in the moment, and, you know, I didn't have too much time to stop and think about it, but I finally watched the wheels or the highlight version of the final 3 games and even the game we lost, just because I did a pretty good job being able to recall, like, things that happened in certain games, but that one I kind of went blank on just because it was kind of a baseball standpoint, a traumatic experience. Like, It was awful. And something I'll never forget and something I think that'll drive us this year and, you know, drive us forever. But, yeah, it was an amazing year, what we accomplished. There's so many little injuries that people don't know about, too.
Correct.
Like guys playing through certain things. And, you know, you lose a guy like Braden and then Hayden steps up. And it was great. I mean, they did amazing, and they carried us all the way there, and you know, we almost got it done. And baseball's a tough sport.
It absolutely is. When we come back to the Aggie Diamond Hour, we're going to talk with Justin Lamkin, and Hayden Schott will join us. The players are next. We're at Rudy's, 504 Harvey Road here in College Station. This is Aggie Baseball from Learfield. When you need a new roof or just have a pesky leak, you want to call on the winning team at Schott Roofing, home of the Bulletproof Roof Guarantee. Get the best. Visit SchottRoofing.com. We continue with the Aggie Diamond Hour. And here's my introduction for the 2 players. Introducing the sweet swinging left-hander.
Yes.
And Hayden Schott.
Nice. That was great. Yeah.
Right?
That was good.
Oh, wait, was that for him? We're both lefty, but one of us is sweet swinging.
Yeah.
And it ain't Justin. Let's get that straight.
I have to say right now that I have told Hayden in the past that when all is said and done, and he's done playing, it's the open invitation. I don't even care what sport you want to do. You can do football, you can do baseball if you want to do, be in the booth, whichever one you want. It's an open invitation.
Yeah, I've also been trying to figure out the denomination of which avenue I want to go. I love table tennis. It's my favorite Olympic sport. So we'll see. I don't know. I would love a fellow teammate like Justin by my side helping me out, because I would just stop talking about the sport about 3 minutes in if I didn't have someone else.
I'll keep you on track.
Yeah, I'll need someone to keep me on schedule.
How you guys doing? 8 days.
Good.
8 days.
I know. Isn't that crazy?
Can it get here fast enough?
I know.
It's just weird. It feels like everything flew by the last year in the best way possible.
Yeah.
In the best way. In the best way. Why'd you come back?
Well, let me think of my list here. I would go. Well, I thought I was done, number one. I figured there was like a pension fund I would reach after hitting 23 years old in college baseball. And after that didn't. I figured I had one more in me. And I don't know. There's so many reasons I could speak to about this place for the next 30 minutes or however long we're doing this. But I think it starts with the team and the people you're around every day. Because as awesome as the fans are and the people are around this university, the people that we wake up with and spend every day with is the players in the locker room and the coaching staff. And so those are the first two priorities. And once those two were the best that we could possibly imagine, it was kind of an easy choice because we have the best fan base in sports. So those three made it really, really easy.
Justin, this group, it's like for as long as the season was, it had to be hard to leave, but I can imagine coming back together, you couldn't help but look forward to that. Would that be fair to say?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's like we love these group of guys. Like we played with them the whole season, like you said, and it's just even after the season was over, we kept in touch, and it's like, hey, like what are you thinking here? What are you thinking? And we all want to stay together. Like we love Aggie Land. We didn't want to leave, and we wanted to run it back with the same group of guys and even more guys that came in from the transfer portal and new freshmen.
Doesn't it say a lot, because sports in 2025 and collegiate sports in 2025 is, okay, I'm going to the highest bidder. But there was a lot more to this. There was more of the connection to this of keeping it together, was it not? Because you guys are going through the middle of changes in college athletics for sure.
Yeah. Are we allowed to shout out whosever birthday it was?
Sure.
Good for them.
Sure.
Yeah. Happy birthday. Unidentified age, but good for them. 100%. It's more than a bidding war. I think it's easy from the outside to look at it as such, but college baseball, Coach Earley says it the best. It's changing, and it's not going to stop changing.
Right.
This is the world we live in now as far as college sports, and obviously that's a part of it. But you have to have all the pieces fall together as well, other than the money side of it. And I think that's where you get a really good group of guys who works together well, and that's also on the coaching staff. If they don't just look for the highest bidder, they look for a guy who wants to be a part of Aggie Land and wants to be a part of this team and what we're doing. And I think they did an unbelievable job at that. So.
Justin, how do you know when a transfer is going to fit? Is there something that stands out when he visits?
Yeah, they usually say they love it right away.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, when they come to a football game in the fall, it's like it feels like home to them. And it's kind of almost like a snap. And they're like, hey, I want to be an Aggie. I want to be an Aggie Land. And, we host guys mainly, and, they'll tell us all about it. And it's just like we tell them about Aggie Land, and they say they love it so much. So
yeah. What changed for you last year? Because you were dynamite in the postseason.
Yeah, I think it's just finding out who I was and not letting the past affect me about how it did. And once I kind of cleared my mind from that, it gave me free range out there on the mind. I went out there with a healthy, clean mindset, and I think that's kind of what propelled me, in that late postseason in Omaha.
So that confidence from there, how do you, as Michael was saying, right, the fall is a big part of that. Everyone's like, oh, well, his first start when he starts this season. That fall becomes just as important, does it not, for how you're going to pitch this spring?
Yeah, I think the fall is great. It's where you get your feet wet again. You take some time off in the summer, you come back, you get your feet wet, like I said, and it's just more reps for you, and you can build that momentum in the fall and learn from what you're doing and carry it over into the spring.
Can you wait until you face another lineup in a different set of uniforms next week?
I cannot wait. These guys are so good. It's brutal.
That's so not true, by the way. He is absolutely diced everyone he's faced so far, including myself three times.
And
so
that was the follow-up. How happy are you going to be to not have to
100%.
face this staff?
Much more that side of it. Lamkin's also like kind of I feel like, not an unsung hero, but I feel like he doesn't get the credit he deserves for just how good he is when you're in the batter's box against him. It's definitely probably one of, if not the most uncomfortable bat I have on our team. And I could probably say that for another 9 hitters. So I think, yes, I'm very excited to see other pitchers, but also that's how you get really, really good, is by facing the best pitchers in the country. And we are lucky enough to have a lot of them on our staff. So that makes it really, really challenging for us, but it should pay off in the months to come. So.
I mean, you hear about it. Pick a sport, any sport, but iron sharpens iron, right? It's more than just a cliche. You guys are living it, right, through the fall and the spring, aren't you?
Oh, yeah, big time. I would say exactly that. I mean, I don't want to speak for the pitchers, but when you have a guy like Jace or Bergevin does this a lot, like these 7-8 pitch at bats, like they're pesky and they're really tough, but those are really good for pitchers too. Like they're really helpful. So I think, iron definitely sharpens
Do you almost feel sorry that there's no easy out in that lineup for opposing pitchers?
No.
Almost. I said almost.
No, they got to earn it.
Yeah, it's as long a lineup as and I mean, we're talking about lineups that have been here recently have been long lineups as well, but this one seems completely different. So how do you, because you've got to pitch through the SEC. You know what that is like. How is that preparation for you? Is it simply, Justin, pitch to pitch?
It is pitch to pitch, and I think it's one pitch at a time. You know, like in the fall and the spring when you face our lineup, you get the repetitions you need with such good bats, and it's like, okay, I pitched against these guys multiple times. I feel more than prepared to go out into the gauntlet of the SEC and try and get the job done.
Do you use it as this batter, maybe for another team, is similar to Hayden, similar to Jace, or is it something different, just a matter of here's how I have to pitch this person?
Yeah, I don't look at it as similarity. I think it's just, whoever we're facing, go out there and take it pitch to pitch, and that's kind of the only way I look at it, and it's the smoothest way to go about it.
This staff seems very competitive, that if Ryan goes out on Friday, then, you know what, Justin, I need to match him. Like, not in a bad way, but almost like, here is that standard. We got to keep that standard. And it's something, okay, I'm done. These are my pitches. I'm giving the ball to whomever. It just seems like it's a really, really high standard. Fair to say?
Yeah, no doubt. I think it compounds also, when Ryan goes out there and sets the tone on Friday nights, I think it compounds to the rest of the weekend. And, even if it doesn't go a starter's way, we have so much depth in that bullpen that you trust no matter who gets the ball and who's going to come in behind you.
Hayden, this lineup, they always say, what's the old cliche, that home runs kill innings, right? This lineup, though, there could be a home run and then, 10 batters later, there's another 6 runs. It really speaks to how potent it is it not?
Yeah, we're going to have a lot of dead innings if that saying is true, unfortunately. It's extremely potent. And also, when you have 1 through 9, and not just 9, I mean, everyone talks about depth, but the way I look at depth is if you have people that maybe aren't starting that day that could fill that role pretty nonsensically and just kind of go in there and do it, kind of like we had Kent do last year at the end of the spring. Mm-hmm. That's like the mark of a really, really good, deep lineup for a baseball team, I think. And that's seemingly right now. We haven't started playing someone in another uniform, but that's what it seems like right now. So that's a positive sign.
Yeah, that preparation, right? You don't wait to play, you prepare to play, to use another cliche on you. And that's exactly.
You're on with the cliches tonight. I'll tell you what, Mr. Monaco, you're killing this.
I am, no
doubt. Do you have these written down before?
I do, yeah, so I can refer to them.
Yeah, it's very smart. I should do that.
But that is vitally important, or the moment's going to be gone. Correct?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
I agree.
Same thing on the mound, right? No matter what the role, correct, Justin?
Correct.
It's just go out there. I need you for one pitch. Okay, that's all it is. So the fun thing watching this team, and I use this a lot watching basketball this season under Buzz, that after every win, every player who walks off the court, and I'll say it for baseball, every player who walks off the field feels that he contributed to that victory. And if you take a performance out, it may not be a win. How powerful is that for a player on a team to know I contributed to that victory?
Yeah, I think it takes everybody, even the guys off the field, like the dugout, the bullpen, guys just cheering for one another, being, the number one supporter for whoever's out there. And, I mean, you never know what could happen. Somebody could, God forbid, get injured, and that next guy's got to go in, and we feel very prepared about that. But I think it takes everybody, and it compounds into one.
Yeah, I think it also goes back to kind of the role you're playing at that moment, in that present moment. Just because if you're not starting that day, you might be starting the next day or whatever it may be. Whatever your role is in that moment. So if, for example, like last year when I would be DHing, like I would be hitting, but then when I was on the bench, if Prager, Lamkin, or someone was pitching, my job at that moment for the next however many outs is to be the best teammate I can be.
Right.
And then it shifts to, okay, now I'm the hitter. Like it's just that being the best teammate you can be in whatever way that presents itself in that moment.
I apologize for burying the lead. 12. What's it mean to you?
Yeah. Let's go, Rudy's. Thank y'all. In all seriousness, it's super cool. I said this the other night at our banquet, but it's kind of hard to fathom the meaning because it means so much to so many other people other than myself, and I think that's what adds to the significance of it. So I think just seeing the reaction of people to it and seeing that they were proud that I got it, and it wasn't a mistake. That was a good thing. So it's been good. We've had a few negative comments on Twitter, which I'll make sure I track them down. I think they're burner accounts, but it's just been overwhelmingly awesome, I guess would be the really colloquial way to say it. So very proud for sure.
How does it feel to be after Ryan Targach, who came after Austin Bost, who came after Troy Claunch, to wear that coveted 12?
Yeah, I mean, I luckily have grown to know all of them on a personal level, which I didn't really expect to when I came here last year for 1 year, I thought. And the first thing you know when you meet them is you understand why they have it and they wore it, just because of how awesome as people they are. And that's when I think about this year. I mean, there's so many guys in that locker room that could have worn that number and been such great representatives of the university. I just am somehow the guy that's going to do it. But I think it's just a testament to our team that there's so many guys that I think could wear that number and represent the school so well. I think it's awesome. And then you have the guys behind us, like you mentioned, Claunch, Bost, Targach. They're just unbelievable people. And that's, right, I think, what the goal is with that sort of thing. It's not just the baseball field. It's beyond that, and that's the goal. So it's big shoes to fill, and I'll do my very best.
There are some questions for you. We will get to them when we return to the Aggie Diamond Hour. We are at Rudy's, 504 Harvey Road here in College Station. It's Aggie Baseball from Learfield. Head on over to your local Rudy's or Rudy's.com to place an order for their real Texas barbecue. Enjoy 100% oak smoke meats, delicious sides, and Rudy's signature sauce. And don't forget, Rudy's serves made-to-order and grab-and-go breakfast tacos every day until 10 a.m. They are checking in, watching on the Texas A&M Baseball Facebook page, behind the mic, Mike Arrington. Great to see Coach Earley and the Aggie baseball ballers ready to go. Mike was a shortstop at A&M from 64 to 67. He has checked in. Sonny, we see you checking in as well. And say hello to Brad Rudis' mom. She's watching
hello,
as well.
Mrs. Rudis. Mrs. Rudis. Can't wait to see you in a week.
So our engineer is Kevin Menchow. He does all of our shows when, well, Jeanette's not here. We prefer Jeanette. Anyway, Kevin says, on a different text chain, here he goes. With Justin's voice, he may be coming for Andrew's job.
Yes.
Right? Right?
I'm gonna bite my tongue.
Which,
I'm not gonna say anything.
Right?
Yeah.
FM DJ voice, is it not?
Yeah, similar to Morgan Freeman.
Very similar.
Like the sleep app.
Yeah.
I've had Justin actually send me some voice memos to put me to sleep sometimes. Okay. When the melatonin isn't working.
Yeah.
True. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. So this is what I say, Justin. I hope you pitch for a really, really long time. And then when I'm done with this, you can have my job. How about that?
I'll let you have it. You're the best at it.
Okay, Steve's question for you. who has the best walk-up song from the new guys?
Oh my gosh, I don't even know.
I don't think we saw him.
Oh, I don't know him.
Oh.
But I will assume Jamal George has a great one.
Poppy?
Yes, Poppy. Poppy loves Latino music, and he can also dance to it. I don't know if that'll be incorporated while he's walking up or dancing up, I guess you could call it. But I would love to see that choreographed. I don't know how we could do that, but we'll see.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's how he introduced himself. As you guys know, you do all the liners for us for the broadcasts, right? Yours was outstanding.
Yep.
You went very DJ voice.
Yeah.
You did.
Practice that.
Did.
Yeah.
Yes, you did. And he asked, can I do, hey, this is Poppy. You're listening to
And you
Aggie
guys let him
Mason.
do it?
Well, yeah. I had to because for basketball, I do the same thing. Wade Taylor IV is 4.
Yeah.
So he's like, hey, this is 4. And now 4 also did one for baseball because I have you guys doing it for each. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and you'll see those guys.
Yeah.
You'll
Oh,
be
yeah.
with
Yeah, they're all.
And you guys you try to catch as much. You become 12th men yourselves, right? You try to catch as much stuff on campus as you can, can't you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I went to my first good seated, I forget who gave us the tickets, but we were going to a basketball game, and it was I went on my visit here a while back, and I hadn't gone since. Usually because we have practice, and then I'm just exhausted and go home. But I was able to go, and it was so dang cool. And a lot of those guys we've become close with over the years, and I guess over a year for me. But and they're all so awesome. So we've had a really good time. Same with football. It's always so fun.
You appreciate what each other is going through, do you not? I mean, you guys have 2 jobs.
Yeah, no doubt. It's cool to see them live out what they're trying to achieve with their dreams, and you support what they're doing because it's definitely not easy.
So I asked Michael this, and I will ask both of you this. When you got honored during the Notre Dame game at Kyle Field, how rewarding was that? Because we didn't get the opportunity to do that for y'all at the way the season ended in the new season. So there it was, 100,000 plus saying congratulations.
Yeah, I think it'd be pretty naive to say it was cool, but it was probably one of the cooler moments I've ever had in my life. It was unbelievable. And then also to add in the fact that you had Oshimbeck, Appel, Montgomery, all the guys from last year that came in for it. I mean, almost our entire roster felt like from last year was there, which that alone is worth the weekend.
Right.
That's worth the whole thing, is just spending 2-3 days with all the boys and hanging out and catching up. So yeah, it was almost magical. It was pretty awesome.
Again, it speaks to the brotherhood, doesn't it? And how special that team was.
Yeah, it was like Mike saying, it was a reunion. Even despite the crowd and all that getting on the field, even before the game, seeing all the guys roll into town, give them a big hug. It's cool to see those guys again and kind of reminisce of what we accomplished that year.
Yeah. The beauty of it, when we were talking to Ted Burton, he said, look, I was Michigan. I hate Notre Dame. So I'm rooting for Texas A&M in that game, too. I was like, well.
Oh, yeah. Auto. Oh, yeah. Ted's a diehard Aggie now. Don't get it twisted. Yeah.
Running joke with Caden Kent that I've had. We spoke in Stanford.
You were able to joke with Caden Kent?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
I haven't been able to do that
Yeah.
yet.
It's because he's a riot. Yeah.
Sorry.
So he's asking me, hey, different things in my career. What have been some of the best places that you've done a game? And we're talking about these different places. And I said, Caden, I have to be honest with you. Saturday night at Kyle Field is something really special. And I'm not trying to be just the homer. I think it's special. I think it's a bucket list type thing. Well, after the Oregon game, the next time I saw him, I said, Caden, I need to change it. Sunday night, Olsen Field at Bluebell Park.
Just that specific date, though?
Just that one.
Okay,
yeah,
all right, that's
yeah.
fair.
There was nothing like it. What was it like to be in that game?
It was crazy. I was in the bullpen, and we were doing some silly rituals and stuff, trying to rally back and all this fun stuff. And
can you explain those rituals, or are those not for the public?
No, we can. They're not bad. So I remember it was me, Chris Cortez, and Eldridge Armstrong. We would stand right under the door of the cage, holding PVC pipes, and it was working. And we'd form a wall and rotate. We just kept scoring runs. And then we heard that bat. I think we threw the PVCs through the roof of the cages. We were running around. It was the coolest thing ever. You have Aggie Alley in the bag. It was obviously packed.
Yep.
Those guys are going crazy. It was the coolest thing I've experienced.
The bullpen does get rowdy.
Yeah,
for sure. When some but like I feel like it's even more for offense, which is so weird because they're the bullpen. Like they're in the bullpen, but they get so rowdy. You can see them if someone hits a home run, you can see them rounding the bases. It's just a party. It's awesome. So cool.
Thank you so much for this time. Absolutely appreciate it.
Come on.
Thank
Good
you,
to
my
be here,
friend.
Andrew. Yes,
We'll
sir.
see you in 8 days. You bet. Hayden Schott, Justin Lamkin. Final
guys.
segment. We return to Aggie Baseball from Learfield. Wrapping up this first edition of the Aggie Diamond Hour this season with Michael Earley. Our next one comes your way on Thursday, March 6th, and then make plans Wednesday, April 9th. Those are the next 2 Aggie Diamond Hours here at Rudy's 504 Harvey Road. Dawson Brown has been the producer of the Aggie Diamond Hour. That's in our Learfield studios. And as I mentioned, Kevin Menchow is our engineer here at Rudy's as well. First pitch Saturday, the inaugural first pitch, Olsen Field at Bluebell Park, the inter-squad scrimmage, sometimes pronounced intra-squad scrimmage, free admission, free parking. There will be fireworks, concessions will be open. 4 o'clock is when that gets started. And then next weekend, next Friday night at 6 o'clock, it's the first of a 3-game series. Elon is here February 14th, 6 o'clock, Saturday at 2. February 16th, it will be 1 o'clock for that. McNeese comes in, then Cal Poly, then Texas State. That's how the season gets started, and it gets underway next Friday. We thank you so much for being here. Thanks for all who were here last night as well for the Aggie Diamond Hour with Tricia Ford. My thanks to head coach Michael Earley. My thanks to Justin Lamkin, Hayden Schott. I'm Andrew Monaco. Wonderful seeing everyone. Thank you for joining us. Thanks for being here. Thanks and gig 'em. This is Aggie Baseball from Learfield.